Hi, I want to talk about self-compassion because for years I thought that being disciplined meant pushing harder. And don't get me wrong, being disciplined is something I have used throughout my life, throughout my career to achieve and professional qualifications, goals, jobs, even physical fitness. The thing is, in recent years, I've realised that force doesn't get me where I want to be, and it's not very kind. It doesn't mean I lose my standards. It doesn't mean I lose my motivation. In fact, it gives me choice. I'm making the choice to go to the gym, for example. I'm making the choice to change the way I'm eating. I'm making the choice to show up for myself. And that's quite different from forcing myself. Now, forcing did get me results, I'm not going to lie, but at what cost? And certainly when I've been in trauma and stress, I've attempted to go back to the gym. And I said, I think yesterday, early hours of the morning when my body was already in fight or flight, exhausted. So it probably wasn't a good decision at the time. But I guess I was desperate to get my fitness back, my health back. And it would have been kinder to myself to allow myself the time to heal, to be still, to rest, to sleep. And that's something that happened during my recovery, if you like. I invested in, I think I shared a couple of years of coaching, and I slept a lot because this body was exhausted. My nervous system was exhausted. It needed recharging. I even had a period where I invested in some herbal treatment with a herbalist, and that really made a difference. I also did some juicing, my raw food, sporadically in and out. But now, having spent that time and having had to be still when I had my recent fall, it was almost like I was given a gift just to be still. And I was still with my thoughts. And it was great because how often do we stop? Many of us are on the go all the time, and some of us, that's our default mode. I just couldn't physically do things because I was in agony, and my sleep pattern was pretty terrible because I had to sleep upright during that time. So I've been reflecting on my recent return to the gym, and yes, it's challenging because I'm pushing myself from the perspective of, getting stronger or staying on the treadmill, a bit longer, or putting the speed up or something, one of the fit principles, the frequency, the intensity, the type, or the time. And I notice, again, I mentioned this yesterday, but my brain will say, oh, I'm tired. But I'm not giving in to my brain because I know that it's not always the best in terms of what I need, if that makes sense. And I've committed to my hour. I mean, I would, stop if I genuinely felt that it was essential or necessary, but it hasn't been so far, so I'm pleased with that. But when I talk about self-compassion, it's not about giving up on your goals or giving up on, as I said, your standards. It's pursuing your goals without abandoning yourself in the process. And for me, that's quite new, because I would often put myself at the bottom and do everything else first. Not that I'm a martyr, just that I had a warped sense of priorities and I wasn't at the top. And it's quite interesting to put myself at the top of my priorities. what I'm talking about is my health in particular. It's not something that we're taught really, and it's not something that comes always naturally. Although I've been in the fitness and wellness industry for well over 40 years, I could talk a good talk in relation to patients, clients, friends, family, tell them the importance of their health, but at the same time, not always putting my own health first. But that has definitely changed. That this focus this year is on my health and well-being, because let's be honest, you can have the nicest house, the best car, the greatest job in the world, but if your health isn't right, they mean nothing, because you can't fulfill all of those expectations that are on you for your job. You can't enjoy your home, you can't drive your car if you're unwell. And I have had my share of being unwell, either stress, chest infections, breaking my ankle, breaking my ribs, that kind of thing. So no more. I'm looking forward to sharing my raw food journey with you. I've been easing myself in very gently. I'm doing plant-based whole foods at this moment, cooked. But I do love raw food, and my body really loves it too, and thrives on the fresh fruit and vegetables, nuts, seeds, and green smoothies, green juices. So I look forward to sharing that with you. And I'm not the kind of person who's saying, this is what I'm doing, you should be doing this too. I very much believe that no one size fits all, and that we all have to find our way. But other people can show us ideas that we can try, and sometimes things that we haven't even considered ourselves. When I did my raw food training, I went to America to the Living Light Culinary Institute with Cherie Soria, and it was amazing. I can't even remember if it was 4 weeks, 6 weeks, intense training, and I loved every second of it. The funny thing was, I was there during a time when I was, again, off work due to stress. And the truth is, I was being bullied, and that was when I was down south, and I had to sign, in the end, a non-disclosure agreement. And that will tell you at what level the stress and the bullying was. But when I went away, because I was advised to take some time away, so I did. I went to America, and that was the best thing I could have done. Not only did the new environment support me, but being exposed to that type of nutrition and methods of using fruits and vegetables was amazing. The difficulty was when I came home and had to sign the non-disclosure, I lost my home, and yeah, the stress went back up, and I couldn't implement what I just learned. But over the years, I've run workshops. I've coached people to increase raw food in their diet. I've also shared and had not a dinner party per se. Well, yes, we did. We had one family dinner party, and I did a Mexican evening. And I've also, I was studying nutrition in Brighton, and the students asked me to make and sell raw pizza because they tried some that I'd brought in. So it was very popular, and I did. So I've had some really positive feedback from the people around me in my life in relation to the flavour, the taste, the texture, all of that. So I'm looking forward to sharing some of that with you in the weeks ahead. But I just wondered, do you give yourself kindness? Are you self-compassionate? Or are you pushing yourself to achieve things? And is it working for you? How is it working? And would you consider having more self-compassion? Do you feel guilty if you put your own health first before your family or someone else? I'd love to hear your views, have a bit of a discussion, and continue this discussion over the weeks ahead. But thank you again for joining me this evening. I hope you have a lovely time, and I'll catch up with you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.